Hello everyone, welcome to Know Your English Grammar. Today's lesson is about the difference between these 5 pairs of homophones that are commonly confused in English. In this lesson, you will learn the meaning of each homophone and how to correctly use them in sentences. Homophones are words that sound alike but are spelt differently, and they have different meanings. Let's go. Our first pair of homophones is feint and feint. Feint, spelled F-A-I-N-T, can be used as a verb and as an adjective. As a verb, feint means to lose consciousness or to feel dizzy or weak, which is usually caused by a lack of blood to the brain. Here are some examples in sentences. She felt dizzy and started to faint after standing in the sun for too long. He fainted after hearing the shocking news. The concert was so crowded and hot that a few people fainted in the audience. Faint, when used as an adjective, means weak or barely perceptible, lacking in strength, clarity, or brightness. Here are some examples in sentences. There was only a faint glow from the distant street lights. His voice was so faint that I had to lean closer to hear him. We could barely make out the faint outline of the ship on the horizon. Now let's look at the other feint in this pair. Feint, spelled F-E-I-N-T, is a noun. It means a deceptive or pretended movement meant to divert attention from one's real purpose. So it really means to deceive, and this is usually used in sports. Here are some examples. The soccer player made a feint to trick the defender. In chess, her opening move was just a clever feint. The boxer used a feint to distract his opponent. Our next confusing pair of homophones is veil and veil. Veil, spelled V-A-L-E, is a noun. It means a valley or a long depression in the land between two hills. Veil is typically used in a poetic or literary context. Here are some examples using veil, V-A-L-E. The shepherd led his flock down into the vale for better grazing. Morning mist settled softly in the vale, giving the landscape a fairy tale look. It is very peaceful hiking through the quiet vale. Now, veil, spelled V-E-I-L, can be used as a noun and as a verb. As a noun, veil means a piece of fine material used to cover the face. It is typically used for religious purposes and often used to cover the woman during a wedding ceremony. It also means a physical covering of something. Here are some examples. The bride lifted her veil to reveal a radiant smile. At dawn, a thin veil of mist covers the mountains. Her true emotions were hidden behind a veil of calmness. And as a verb, veil, V-E-I-L, means to cover or conceal something. Here are some examples. The clouds veiled the sun, casting a shadow over the fields. She veiled her disappointment with a polite smile. The artist veiled the meaning of the painting in abstract shapes and colors. Our next pair of homophones is gilt and guilt. Gilt, spelled G-I-L-T, is a noun and it means a thin layer of gold applied to a surface such as gilt lettering. Here are some examples in sentences. The gilt lettering on the book made it look very expensive. The frame was covered in a beautiful layer of gilt. The antique vase had a gilt edge that had started to fade. Gilt, spelled G-U-I-L-T, is also a noun. It means the feeling or the fact of having done something wrong. Here are some examples. He felt a deep sense of guilt for missing his friend's birthday. The suspect's confession was motivated by overwhelming guilt. She couldn't shake off the guilt of breaking her mother's favorite vase. And our next pair of homophones is hoard and hoard. Hoard, spelled H-O-A-R-D, can be used as a noun and as a verb. Hoard as a noun means a stockpile or stash of valuable items. Here are some examples. He has a hoard of old coins hidden in his basement. The thief got away with a hoard of expensive jewels valuing millions of dollars. Her grandmother kept a hoard of letters and photographs in a wooden box. Hoard as a verb means to collect and store items for future use. For example, people began to hoard food and water before the storm hits. During the pandemic, people hoarded toilet paper and canned goods. Squirrels hoard nuts for the winter. Now let's look at the other hoard, spelled H-O-R-D-E. This hoard is a noun and it means a large group of animals or people often behaving in a chaotic or unruly manner. Here are some examples. We saw a horde of shoppers rushing through the mall on Black Friday. Hordes of bikers ignored the one-way sign, causing chaos on the narrow street. The village was overrun by a horde of invaders. And now for our last pair of difficult homophones, we have key and key. Key, spelled K-E-Y, is a noun and it has two meanings. One is a small device used to lock or unlock something like a door, and two is a crucial element in solving a problem. Here are examples. She lost the key to her apartment and had to call a locksmith. This is using key as a device to unlock a door. And our next example is, the key to success is hard work and perseverance. This is using key as an element in solving a problem. Key, spelled Q-U-A-Y, is also a noun, but it means a structure built alongside the bank of a body of water for loading and unloading ships. For example, tourists who disembarked the ship strolled along the quay, enjoying the view of the harbor. The boat was tied up at the quay, waiting to unload its cargo. Fishermen gathered at the quay early in the morning. Well, that's it for this lesson. I hope it helped you to increase your vocabulary. Please subscribe to this channel for more insightful English grammar lessons. Thank you for staying and see you next time. Bye-bye.